good morning, Grand Rising.
Good morning, family.
Yes, we are so delighted that you decided to join us on today. We are bridging the nations from the inside out. Good morning, Dr. Don Vaniqua. We appreciate you being here with us early this morning. In the morning, I rose, I ride. I didn't have no doubt.
None.
One of those. I didn't have no doubt that Vanika was going to show up early this morning. And so we are delighted that you have decided to join us. Vanika, do us a great favor. Tell your friends, your family, share this post. We're going to be back in about 38 seconds.
Hey, thank you for saving my life. I'm alive with one hand in the sky. I'm looking at the cross with both of my eyes. So I know I was born in a sin, but now I'm in Christ. Yes, I'm born to win. I know that Jesus lives, and I know He is my King, and that's why I always sing. Jesus, thank you for saving my life. Hey, thank you for saving my life. I'm alive with one hand in the sky. I'm looking at the cross with both of my eyes. So I know I was born in a sin, but now I'm in Christ. Yes, I'm born to win. I know that Jesus lives, and I know He is my King, and that's why I always sing. Jesus, thank you for saving my life.
I love that.
I love that.
I love
too.
that.
I love that. I think that's beautiful and dynamic. Thank you, Grand Rising, Miss Angelique, the artist. We want to say thank you and good morning, Grand Rising, to each and every one of you. If you are in South Africa, we want to say good evening. If you're in Perth, Australia, you want to say good night. But I'm glad that you have decided to join us on today. This intro gets you out of bed. That is absolutely right. So listen, today is a beautiful and fantastic day. We don't take it lightly that you have decided to join us on this beautiful day. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about pride. I know we know, don't nobody really want to talk about that. Sometimes we trip over pride. And so we know that every time that we come on here with Bridging the Nations, of course, we got a scripture for you. We got one. Let me just give you one real quick. Proverbs 11, chapter, the 2nd verse. It says, when pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble comes wisdom. Let me give you one more. Proverbs the 8th chapter, the 13th verse. It says, the fear of the Lord is to not like evil, to hate evil, and pride and arrogance. Sometimes you don't, and every time you have pride, you can pretty much believe there's some arrogance there. And pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth, God says, He's not about that. So as we start off, we're going to jump it off with Lady Queen, because this was a topic that witnessed to her. And so we're going to come in, and Lady Queen, let us know.
Good morning, family. Hopefully y'all can hear me good and everything. We good. Awesome. Definitely it was something this week that I really realized, because I believe, well, I thought myself that I was not a prideful person, but a very humble person. But a lot of times we need to even look into smaller things in our life, because, something recently like happened, and some individuals were trying to help me. And a part of me, like when I went home, I'm like, man, I'm nobody's victim. That's the type of mindset that I had, not understanding that there was a need in something, but I felt like just this superhero cape, and when I thought about it later, I was like, you know what, Antoinette Marie told me I don't have to be nobody's superhero. But it's like, it seriously, it popped in my head like that. And that's why I said a lot of times when we speak about something, it even ministers, definitely to me, because that's what I realized. Trying to almost have this facade and trying to, show this certain. You want people to see you a certain type of way. You don't want them to see you, when you're going through or when you're hurt. And a lot of times that could actually hinder what God would love to do in your life using an individual, but because of pride, because a part of me wants to say, no, that's okay, because like I'm good, I'm good. And you may very well be good, because I still believe that I'm a very strong person. It's just coming from a place of, what we really have to say, I know what it is. And God laid this on this individual's heart. But because of the pride in me, because of me saying, or really an ego, I guess, if I put it that way, I seriously was ready to push away the help. Like I was ready to push away the help, knowing that it was really something I need help with. Now, understand, this could be even with us, even in a mental state, reaching out for someone to help us, to talk to us about what we're going through, about something that happens, or something that has happened. Because in our culture, it's very difficult for people of color to reach out for help, to reach out, let me go talk to a therapist. That's something that is not done a lot in our culture. And so I pray to God, because I'm seeing it more and more, that the dynamics are changing, but it's not in our culture to do that, because, we always say what goes on in this house stays in this house, and it better stay there, and that's what we've always said, that's what we've always said, but not realizing that God is even helping us get to the next level. And a lot of times we have to get rid of some things that would hold us back, because pride will hold you back. Pride will have you sitting back, and things are happening. So just learning how to say, you know what, God, help me to not play the victim, but yet still be humble and not be proud, because I realize what you're doing in my life. And I also realize that in order even to elevate, I'm telling you, networking with your brothers and sisters is the way. In order to elevate, how the Bible said 2 are better than 1, for if one falls. But the thing is, a lot of time when we fall, we don't want nobody to know we fell. And we sure don't want their hand to pick us up, because that means you looking down on me. And we get this certain type of mindset. We're getting this certain type of mindset when God is like, no, 2 is better than 1. Because guess what? Sometimes getting up can be very hard.
Sometimes you need some help to get up.
Very difficult.
Sometimes we need help. I said sometimes you need some help to get up.
Exactly. So we seriously have to take off the Superman cape, the Superwoman cape, and say, you know what? It's okay that I needed help. It's okay. And not be afraid, to ask for help if that is the case. Now, I'm telling you there, and I said, there really is no such thing as balance, but, just as much as you can adjust to what you need to do. Sometimes we need to be the people that say, you know what, this didn't happen the way that I thought it would, or I went through this, and, what's going on in my mind, I really don't want to end up in a better place. I really don't want to end up in a place where I'm struggling, or, just mentally to get out the bed, or, and just reach out for the help. So, it is definitely something that has been a thought of mine, because I'm like, I'm not a prideful person, but yet it's something in my life, and we should forever be searching ourselves, because the more we judge ourselves, we'll judge others less, because we're judging ourselves, realizing the plank in our own eye, right? So it's just getting to a place where we say, you know what, it is okay if you need help, because 2 are better than 1.
Yes, I'd rather
Good
have
stuff.
2 sweet potato pies than 1. I guarantee you that.
Good stuff.
We want to say hey and good morning to Tracy and Carrie and our Facebook users. Let us know who you are this morning. We appreciate you being here on this beautiful day. Hey, Shima. Hey, Lori. Thank you for being here. One of the things that my grandmother y'all know I'm going to always have some story about my grandmother, because that's my business. But I want to say this, is that my grandmother used to say this all the time. She said, wherever pride shows up, something is going to fall. And throughout my life, which now I know that's a scripture, but but I didn't know that then. And I've seen that every single time. Every time you have arrogance about something, every time you are prideful about something. Now, let's distinguish. So we're not talking about having pride or sense of pride about, who you are as a human being, or, your culture, we're not talking about that, right? So let's push that to the side. We're talking about where you believe that, as my grandmother would say also, that your stuff don't stink sometimes. That's prideful. Like everything that you do, you're just all the way up here. And so I remember her saying to me, everywhere pride shows up, something always has to fall. And then I also, there's a scripture, because, we Bridging the Nation, we have a scripture. We can, for pretty much everything, because that's where it is. Proverbs 26:12 tells you, do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than somebody that's prideful. Oh, yeah, that's what it says. Oh, y'all need the scripture again? I'm remembering joy right now. Proverbs 26:12. There is more hope for a fool than a prideful person. And a lot of times what happens to us is, it's great to be excited about something, but when you start working in the spirit of pride and having a prideful spirit, I can guarantee you, ask some of the people that that are around you, that once was up here and everybody was throwing them roses and flowers, and all of a sudden, bam, they go down. So we have to be very careful when we are seeing other people accomplish certain things, or seeing ourselves accomplish certain things. You have to stay humble. You have to stay humble. The Bible says that Moses was the most humblest human being in the Bible, which is very interesting, because in the book of Numbers, that's what it say. And then I started doing some research. I think Moses wrote the book of Numbers. Y'all catch that on another thing. Anyway, but also, here's the thing too. One of the ways that throughout my life that I found out how to work through pride is the act of service. When you have it in your heart to serve other human beings, I didn't say worship. There is a difference. Service and worship are different. But when one of the ways that you can break that being prideful is to serve someone else. And so a lot of times, when anything that we elevate higher than what we should, pride is soon to come in. Anything, whether it's our children, whether it's our business, whether it is our 9 to 5, whatever it is, when you elevate that to a point where that is now, it's not, I'm pride. I have a great immense of pride, that my son or daughter graduated from college. That's different. That's different. But when you start to say this, my son or my daughter graduated from college, they would have not graduated from college if it had not been for me. That's prideful. There's a difference. One way you're celebrating something that somebody has accomplished. The other side, you're saying, if it had not been for you, they would have not completed this. Right? And so that's how you can know the difference, right? We can't elevate things higher than we know that we should. And one of the things I heard somebody say that you can crush pride by having an open heart and showing love and having a servitude attitude when it comes to what you're doing every single day. And when we talk about serving and being humble, it's not saying that you just let somebody just run all over you. We're not saying that. What we are saying is you have to humble yourself, and one of the ways that you can do that is this. If you see somebody else that's doing something great, why don't we take an opportunity to ask them, how can I be of help? How can I? And I know nowadays everybody got a bag, everybody grinding, everybody hustling. We don't like that word to serve. We don't like the word humble. But I just want to say this to you with all amounts of love. Did you not know that when you push other people into their greatness, when you push other people into what you believe and what you see within them, don't that mean you're going along with them? You don't push. As you push, you're going with. And a lot of times we always want to be the ones that to be seen. We never want to, we struggle, I won't say never, we struggle with helping other individuals. We struggle because we're the people, and particularly now on social media, everybody wants to be seen for absolutely everything. I stumped my toe. Let me put it on social media. I got a new hairstyle. Let me put it on social media. I got a new Bentley. Let me put it on social media. I got a Honda. Let me put it on social media. Sometimes what we have to do is we got to scale back, because everything shouldn't be open to everybody. Everything in your life should not be open to everybody. So I'm going to push it over. I'm pushing right now. I'm pushing it over to Anthony.
I'll take it. That's good stuff. And when I think about pride, it always comes to the question to me, am I pointing people to my I am, or am I pointing people to the great I am? To me, that's the ultimate test. If people look at the fruits of my life and my labor, does it point them to say how great Anthony is, or does it point people to say how great God is through Anthony? And I think that's a true challenge where a lot of people we miss the mark. And it's okay if we missed it, because we can always fix it. I think a lot of times, because of this culture that we're in, this Instagram, this social media culture that we're in, it's always us trying to put a better image of ourselves out there than what we know currently exists. We're trying to create this image. It's almost like the person that buys them, and I raise my hand because I was that person, who go buy the Mercedes Benz and can't afford to turn the air conditioner on because they don't have gas money. It's all, we're portraying the image that I got this, but you don't truly have it. And
It got you.
You got it, but you don't have it. It got you. It have you, because now you and your kids can't go out to eat, or you can't do the thing necessary for them to do. To me, that's pride in action.
Yeah.
To me, that's pride in action, because my lot in life, or my concerns, are no longer on the great I am, awakening my I am to do the good he wished to do through me. And I think that's why my boy, I think it was Peter or Paul, one of them said, I have become of no reputation. And the challenge for a lot of us is, how do I become of no reputation? I mean, honestly, when are you going to allow yourself out of people prison, making decisions so you can look good in front of people, in order to say, okay, now it's about awakening my I am? I'm telling you, I've been on awakening my I am going on 2 years. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with it. At what point do I walk away from what I live by, what other people think about me, than I do what the great I am is saying about me? To me, that's pride. I think anytime, any moment when people look at you and say, man, look what God did through him. Or they say, man, how did you attain that? You say, man, the great I am is awakening my I am, or is God working through me? It's all about who's the source of the accomplishment. If you believe that you're the only source of the accomplishment, pride. Just a matter of time before we fall. Holler at him, Edwin. But if I believe that, like, I love we did a survey at work. We just did a survey at work, and all my employees and all the people that work for me on my team had to go, and they had to write they had to answer like 50 questions, and then had the area they can write in about me. The one thing that I loved about the comments that my team made, out of all my team members, they said the majority of the feedback was, Anthony doesn't have favorites. Anthony treats everybody the same. Anthony is so inspirational. And the question is, how does that happen, motivational teacher? Because my goal with my team is to always give them the credit. I always want them to walk away feeling like they've done something special. They've gone above and beyond, that they've done something that I couldn't have done all by myself.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge for a lot of us. Can I give credit without always trying to be the one to receive it.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
bread
good.
breaking moment.
That's
a
good.
bread breaking moment out there. That's a bread breaking moment.
That's leadership.
Am I the one that got, come on, Laura, am I the one that always got to be on the pedestal? Put me in the center.
Yeah.
And you can read it later, Antoinette Marie. But the greatest of you, the greatest of us must be the least.
Yes.
I just broke bread. If you can't wash feet, you can't reign with him. If you can't wash the feet, oh, I want you to go. This is just poker fun. You know, some people come to church, they park their car in the front, let somebody else take their car and park it for them. Roll out the red carpet, get my Bible to somebody. You bring my Bible to my office.
Yes.
And you bring my water out here.
Yes.
And I'm just telling you, in order to be the greatest, I need to be carrying your Bible. I need to be me, you at the car, walking you in the church.
That's good.
And so a lot of times we've gotten it backwards, that we believe that the leader is on the pedestal and everybody else is below. But I'm telling you, the moment where pride falls, it's the complete opposite.
Yes.
It's the complete opposite, where now us as leaders are washing feet. My question to us: when was the last time we washed feet? When was the last time you gave credit where credit was due? When was the last time you told somebody about how awesome they are and the job they did was well done?
Yes.
To me, that's the true mark of an awakened I am.
Yes.
The awakened I am. When David went to fight Goliath, it had nothing to do with David.
Yes.
Bread breaking moment right there.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with David, but it had everything to do with the uncircumcised Philistine that's raising up against God's people. Had nothing to do with him. And the greatest, about another bread breaking moment, the greatest accomplishment in your life will have nothing to do with you. The moment you start putting and seeing others before your own needs, or before you start putting others above you, those will be the moments where you see the greatest returns on your investments. Antoinette Marie.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm just going to piggyback on that thing about David, because in 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, it talks about how David came to serve. David did not even come for any of that. He didn't come for the accolades, because, think about it. David already knew, because he had already been told, like, he was, that boy you got way over there, he is the king. You are the one. But David came to serve and not to fight. So his job at that particular point in that chapter was to bring his brothers lunch. Up in the house today.
That's it.
That was his job, was to bring his brothers lunch.
That's it. Service.
Because this is what I truly believe, that if you find your purpose, your bushel, what you are supposed to be doing, you will find the bag. See, a lot of times we're trying to rush to get the bag.
Come on.
We are rushing. We are rushing to get the bag. There's nothing wrong with the bag. But the problem is, how do we generate the bag? How are we getting the bag? And I want to say this to you. God don't love me. God don't love Anthony. God don't love Shamika more than what he loves you. So a lot of times what we're doing is we think, well, certain people, oh, God loves them more. No. We just are in the process. We are doing the work. We're doing the work and understanding that we have to serve. What we're doing here today, this is service. Yeah. This is service. And with service, it is going to take discipline. With service, it takes. So everybody know, like this week was Anthony's birthday. In spite of his being still his birthday, he done came up, done did the clock right for daylight savings, and still here. And his wife is over in the corner looking at him, because he said, you know what? In spite of that, this is his service. We're not.
And it's reasonable.
And it's reasonable. This is his reasonable service. Reasonable service. Now, next week is my anniversary. I ain't going to be on here Sunday. So I ain't going to tell y'all that right now. I'm just not. It ain't going to be my reasonable service. My reasonable service is going to be to serve my husband. Okay, anyway, y'all get that later too. So what I said is
Thank you,
that
Laura.
the service. What happened to that part? I love what Anthony said about the washing of the feet. And many times that is, looking at it as that's an example of such great service to another human being. I also love the fact that what he said about, asking other people. This week, I contacted one of my good friends and I said, listen, there's a project that I got to do. And I know that you are the person that's going to help me do it. This young lady did not say, well, why'd you call me? She said, you know what? I got you. I got you. That's that part where now, because we are all so social media ties, I'm going to say that. I don't know if that's a word, that it's all about us sometimes. And I'm telling you, I've been guilty of that. Sometimes you're doing something you like, okay, I just want to get the word out there. I want to get the whatever it is. You like, wait a minute, hold on. So we have to pull back and we have to recognize that what did God say? God say, for people that have pride, there ain't really a whole bunch of hope for them, because let me tell you the reason why. Because they think they can do it all. They can do it all. They can accomplish it all. They can acquire it all by themselves. You hear people a lot of times say, I don't need nobody. Yes, you do. Yes, we do. We need one another.
We do.
We need one another to be able to do exactly what the great I am God has told us to do. If God only needed one person on this earth, why are there almost 8 billion? I think we're close and going towards 8 billion people. We need one another. And a lot of times as we go through life and we go through this journey, it's okay to be, to have thanks and gratitude of something that you have accomplished. But when you let that thing go from accomplishment to pride to arrogance, you don't went over to a whole nother dimension, I say, because that's something that God says he disdain it. It's the pride of life. That pride of life. I got it. You ain't got it. Look at me. You ain't nothing. That's not who God is.
Come on.
That's not who God is. I don't care who told you, oh, it's okay to elevate yourself. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And it's nothing wrong with when you have children or even yourself that you have accomplished something. That's great. You should celebrate the small successes. You should celebrate. But from celebration to arrogance to deceitful to conceited, rather, and then you just barking on pride like can't nobody tell you nothing. We already gave you the scripture in the book of Proverbs. When you get and you elevate yourself above what you should be elevating yourself, and you know that pride is coming in, like can't nobody tell you nothing. That's a point in your life where you want to just pull back. Now, this is what I can tell you. You ain't got to pull it back. Let me tell you what I know about God. Because he loves us. God will pull it back. And I would rather pull my own self back than to let God expose me openly about some stuff. You can do it yourself. Be aware of what you're doing and what you are saying. Anthony?
Yeah, I love it. And I think the challenge with having pride, and now I want to kind of bring balance to this message, because anybody that listens to these motivational Mondays know I'm loud, I'm proud, and what the great I am is doing through me. So I want to bring balance to what we're talking about, because we're saying don't be prideful. We're not telling you to be a doormat either.
Yes.
We're not saying like be like I'm just a nobody trying to tell somebody about everything that can change anybody. I don't want you, we don't want you to take that walk from this conversation either.
Yes.
But we do want you to know that your I am should point people to the great I am. And the moment, and why pride is so bad, and they call it 7 deadly sin, whatever. I don't know who coined that phrase or where it is, but they talk about pride being one of those. Why is pride so dangerous? Pride is one of those things that you could be carrying with you and you not really know that it's being prideful. A lot of times we react from what we've seen in the past, what we've heard in the past, what we've touched, what people have said about us in the past. And a lot of times we're making decisions about our future and making decisions in the now about what happened in the past. And a lot of us won't know that those decisions or whatever, that trauma that took place in the past is driving our decisions today. I remember not many years ago, I was so insecure that I tried to make myself, I would try to speak up. I would try to be boisterous because of my own insecurity. And when people looked at it, it looked like Anthony was prideful. But the backdrop was Anthony was very insecure, and it showed itself as pride. And so that's why it is so important that we are able to, I love the word balance, and thank y'all for the birthday wishes. And I'm at an undisclosed location right now. I know y'all looking for the greatness demands everything, but I'm at an undisclosed location right now. You know, hey, I'm so famous, you know, there'll be a lot of people down in the lobby waiting on me if they knew where I was.
What? Pride coming through.
They'll be down there waiting. Hey, they need a word. They need a word. They know where to get one. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're at an undisclosed location, so excuse my non-backdrop today. But that's the key for me as it relates to this conversation. When I'm talking, do I point people to the great I am?
Yeah.
Or do I point them to me? I want nobody. Thank you, Facebook users. Thank you, Coach T. I don't want people, and this is the thing I love about Jesus, is the fact that he walked tall and carried a big stick all at the same time where he was willing to die for his brothers and sisters on the cross. And see, that's a challenge for a lot of us that cannot be as cunning as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. See, we got to learn how to be both. I'm breaking bread right now. This is something you won't hear everywhere, but I'm challenging you. You gotta be you gotta be both. You gotta know when it's time to stand up to all of Baal's prophets, and then you gotta know when it's time to pick up an ear and be able to heal somebody. You gotta know when it's time, when David, you gotta know when it's time to play the harp and calm Saul, and then you gotta know when it's time to go out there and defeat the Amorites. See, I'm challenging us to get in touch with our own I am. I got to know, see, as a father, I got to know when I got to go hug my sons. And then I got to know when I got to say, son, you got to get over this. You got to get through that. I got to know when I got to be tear down a wall, and I got to know when I got to build one. And see, that's the challenge with us actually getting to know our awakened I am. Because that challenges us, because growing up, my dad never threw his arms around me and said, hey, son, I love you. He never threw his arms around me and said, hey, son, you'll get through this. It was always, you got it, you go get it, figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And see, if I'm not careful and not awakened I am, I would treat my boys
yes,
I was treated in my past, and I wouldn't even know the reason why I was doing it.
yes.
See, that's why it's so important.
That's good.
That's why it's so important that you begin to awaken your I am. The more awakened your I am is, the better you're able to go in and out these different, you're able to go in and out whatever God is doing through you at that moment. There are going to be times where you're going to have to cry at night. I'm going to break bread. There are going to be times where you don't feel like I'm this strong and boisterous person. And you're going to be times where you feel like, man, I can overcome the world. But how do I meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same? How do I do it? Knowing that it's the great I am that's working to do the good in which and through me. Understanding that during this process, I'm going to smile some, I'm going to cry some, but joy is going to always come in the morning. I'm breaking bread right now for somebody out there that's in the middle of trying to figure out who I am.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out who I am. And there are moments when I feel prideful, and there's moments when I feel so low. Motivational teacher, where's the balance? Easy. The balance is that you can be in the field with the grapes and the olives and going through a wine press and feel like you have sweat, there are great drops of blood, and then you can be the same person that feel virtue go out the bottom of you. And in both of those situations, I am not moved. Listen to your boy. I am not moved, because what I'm going through in the pressing with the great with great drops of blood, sweat that's like blood. And the same time when virtue's going out of me, it's still the great I am working in and through me. And this is just my process to getting to the top. It's just believe you me, I'm on my way somewhere, but this is my process. And the moment why you need, and the reason why you need those moments when you're under so much pressure that sweat feels like blood is to keep you humble. It's to keep you so you won't get prideful. It's to keep you so when you can come into contact with somebody else, you can have that conversation. Say, I remember when I was crying. I remember when I was about to give it up. I remember when I thought my dream, my destiny wasn't coming into fruition. I remember when I was broker than a joke. I remember when I was living in a room the size of a closet. I remember those things because those things keep me grounded. Yeah, I'm breaking bread right now. I remember when I couldn't put gas in the car. Why? That keeps me grounded when I can put gas in the car. And it keeps me humble to the point when I see somebody who can't put gas in the car, it helps me to want to put gas in that car because that was me.
That's
not
good.
Many years ago. That
right
was
there.
me.
That's good. Right
that
there.
was me not many years ago. And so I'm always sensitive to those issues because that was me not many years ago. And the challenge for us is to always be in a position where the great I am can awaken our I am to use us at any moment to do the good through which he pleases. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. I love the fact the other day, man, it brought tears to my eyes. We were in, we went into Quick Trip. You know, we love the little gas station. We wear masks and all that stuff. And my son went in and I gave him $5. I said, go get your brother something, go get you something. And it was a man outside that didn't have much, and he was just standing by there. He was asking people for money going in and out. And my son had like $1.60 left over. And as he was walking out, the guy didn't ask him. He gave the guy the $1.60 and said, "Here, go get you something to drink." With the $1.60, almost brought tears to my eyes because all my son don't know lack in that degree. All he does is hear me talking about stories about when I grew up. We didn't have lights in the house. We didn't have gas. We had to borrow. We did community eating where whoever had food, everybody went over their house and they ate. And so it helped me to understand that he could see himself through the lens of that guy, through the lens of that man, through the stories that I've told. And it blessed my heart so much to know that my kids are being balanced, although they didn't have to go through what I went through. And I'm challenging some of us to make sure that we bring that balance to our lives and to our children's lives. Antoinette Marie.
Wow, I tell you, that's good. If you didn't get those nuggets, hit the replay and definitely get those. I think what's so beautiful, just even about life, is, you know, there's so many examples that Jesus gave us throughout life. One of the things we're talking about, you know, pride, and as we are moving into just servitude and being of service, think about this. Didn't Jesus have 12 disciples? Didn't he have some folks that helped him?
He did.
We are not in a season. I don't ever believe there was a season where we believe that we can do every single thing by ourselves. That is unequally out of alignment, that we believe that we can do it all by ourselves. Even Jesus had 12 folk. I ain't saying you got to have 12 because some of them, but even he had 12. He had some folks. Jesus did not come on this earth. And even if you think about the way that he came, he knew he was the King of Kings. So he could have came in on a stallion, dripped with emeralds. But how did Jesus come? Came in a manger.
That's good.
Oh yeah, that's good right there.
That's really good.
Came in a manger because he knew who he was. See, once you know who you are, you don't have to come dripping. Once you know who you are, you don't have to come with diamonds. But if that's what you want to do, and you feel like that's going to help you in some way. But I'm saying today, if we think about everything that we're trying to accomplish, it is more than okay. It is good that you ask for help. You cannot be everything. If you have a business, you cannot be, I done tried it. I done found out it ain't a good thing. You cannot be the CEO, CFO, you the chief innovator officer. You can't, it's not, that is unequally yoked. We talk about balance. We got to get some balance to that. I understand new entrepreneurship. You may not have the funds readily available to have an executive assistant or whatever it is. But eventually, you should ask for help. And sometimes, this for the elevator folk, sometimes even if you know how to do it, come on, God, even if you already know how to do it, God will lay somebody on your mind. He will lay somebody on your heart for you to ask them to do it, because that is going to bless them. It's going to bless them. I like what Laura said about paying it forward. Some of us just need to do something very simple. We just need to ask for help. Some of us just need to ask for help. I was a person, I didn't want nobody to help me with nothing, because I felt like I was a superwoman. I can do it all. I can be it all. And society was telling me I could do it all. I can be it all. Get more degrees. Get this. Buy another house. Build another house. Get this. Get this. I was like, yes, I can do it. I can do it. And ran myself almost to death.
Hey, can I chime in on that point?
Yes, sir.
And for some of us, that might be the development that we need, right? Because we are prideful, and that could be God showing us that pride is in our life, that we're not willing to ask for help. That could be a part of our growth and development, and
That's
that
good.
piece that's missing to get us to the next level. Don't think that I think a lot of people just take life haphazardly and don't incorporate. I'll leave you big. I'm just chiming in your conversation. Leave you big. I think a lot of people just go through life without incorporating thought, and we believe that stuff just happens because the universe orchestrates it. And I don't believe the universe orchestrates anything. That little simple task of being able to ask for help in a moment where you feel like, yeah, I just don't need it, or I'll figure it out. No, part of your growth and development in the area might just say, be help. All right, I want to chime in on that.
Absolutely. And I think part of that is a part of the growth. That's a part of the growth. Some people just don't want to ask for help. Because why? Because first of all, they're prideful, but behind all of that is in their heads, it makes them seem as though they can't accomplish it. It makes them seem as though they're a failure. But we're here to tell you this morning on Bridging the Nations that asking for help is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
Asking for help is a sign of great strength. And I tell you, I never thought about it until I was sitting here and literally, as Anthony was talking, listen, even Jesus had 12 people that could help him. And go back and you think about even the 12 disciples. They were not all doing the same thing. Oh, yes, God, come on in the room today. They didn't all look the same. They weren't all from the same ethnicity. Go search it for yourself. So sometimes we have to stop looking for every single body that's going to help us should look like us. Yeah, Every single person that's a part of your team looks like you and think like you. Then what is that? I dare to say some of that is pride. You hire everybody that look like you, think like you, they wear their hair like you. Where's growth in that? Where's growth in that? Because if you was all you needed, why you need to hire somebody else? And so as you go through your upcoming week, and if you know that you need help, don't let pride be what causes you to trip. Don't let pride be the stumbling block to your success. Don't let pride hinder you from helping someone else. Don't let pride examine that thing within your heart to say, God, is there any place up in my heart that I have pride in? Let me tell you, baby, God will show it to you. God will show it to you. God will say, this right here is where you have pride at. And when you come to yourself and you decide that I know in this particular area I can do better. In this particular area, I got a little pride over here because people done already pumped me up and told me, yeah, and I can do it and all that. Listen, you better draw back before God draw down. Because that's one thing that God says that he hates. There ain't many things that God say he hates, but pride is one. And we can do better. We can do better. We have the resources, we have the experience, we have the knowledge to do better. And sometimes that doing better is asking for help. It's asking for help. Anthony?
And don't forget that you are a conduit from heaven to earth. Don't forget that you are a conduit, that God is willing to work through you. And that person blessing that you don't want to help you, their blessing might be in helping you. And so number one, you're stopping your blessing and you're stopping theirs all at the same time because you are a conduit. That's the awakened I am. You are a conduit. At the end of the day, the awakened I am is a conduit from heaven to earth. And seed time and harvest is real. I find it, and people do this. I know a lot of people that have this same complex that I give. When it's time for me to get, I don't receive. What farmer goes out, tills the ground, plants all the seeds, and then when it's harvest time, look at it and say, well, I'll just let it die in the ground. The intended use for the harvest is to eat, is to feed. There's a need. The intended use of the collard greens, whatever you put out there in that field, is to eat. Watermelon is to eat. And the farmer looks at the harvest and say, it's ripe and it's ready, but I'm gonna let it rot. And that very thing that was meant to bless your family now is a hindrance because no more fruit can grow on there until you get rid of the old fruit that's on it now.
Pick it up.
So until man, like your life your life is a conduit. Trust me on this. Your life is a conduit. You're supposed to give and receive. Check this out now.
Yes.
You're supposed to bless up and be blessed.
Yes.
You're supposed to be the head and not the tail. Why motivational teacher? Because you're a conduit. It's okay for you to ask for help. It's okay for you to help somebody. You're not in competition with anybody but you. It's me versus me. There's no way that the great I am has put something here and I got to try to beg, borrow, and steal and hold and keep everything myself in order to get what I have. And I got to keep 4 or 5 people underneath my feet for me to get to the top. I got to step on as many heads as I can to get to the top. I'm telling you that's not the way up. The way, there go another bread breaking. The way to go up is to go down. And that only makes sense to kingdom-minded people.
Yeah.
The only way to go up is to go down. A seed is never profitable unless it goes in the ground.
Yes.
And you are a seed to this earth. And the moment you realize that my life is more than my job, or my life is more than just my 8 to 5, or it's more than just what I come home and do with my family. But you are a powerful individual on this earth.
Yes.
That was created for a day at a time, just as this, so you can connect heaven and earth. I'm breaking bread right now. And the moment you start seeing yourself, oh my God, I got to do this. When people bless my life, when they bless my life, they're only opening up the blessings in their own life. And when I give, whether it's from my lack or whether I give from my abundance, I'm opening the windows of heaven in my own life. Everything, here go another bread breaking moment. Everything in my life that I just hold cannot work for you. Everything in your life you just keeping for you cannot work for you.
Yes.
It only works for you when you give it away. Or you're receiving and you're a conduit.
Yeah.
Whatever you have, Moses never could go and rescue the people of Israel until he came from the backside of Midian. Until he said, I got to do something bigger than myself.
Yes.
I got to do something bigger than myself. Master P couldn't have been Master P until he released himself from the Callio projects. And the challenge for a lot of us is we got to release ourselves from our old way of thinking and say, man, there's something much bigger in my life.
Yes.
There's something much more in my life. In order for me to get there, I have to be a conduit, meaning that I have to give and receive at the same level.
Mhm.
Anything great was never done with one person.
Yes,
Write
sir.
that down. I just can't seem to get along with anybody. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be small and mediocre your whole life.
Yeah.
Just
Right
seem like
there.
every time I let somebody close to me, they harm me. So I'm not gonna let anybody else close to me. You're gonna die average.
Yes.
You're gonna die average. I can tell you
Facts.
that right now.
Mhm.
It just seemed like me. I always attract the wrong people in my life. You're exactly right. You attract them because there's something about you that attracts them, which
Yes.
means that you got to start awakening your I am so you can receive better people in your life.
Yes.
It's a breaking moment right there.
Yeah.
Where it just seems like every time I get up, I get almost there, I fall down. Then there's something on the inside of you
Mhm.
that attracts that fall to you. And the only way I know to get out of it is to awaken your I am, to realize that I'm supposed to be giving and receiving at the same level all the times in my life. That's why I'm trying to tell you, the more that I grow and the more that I learn about me, the more and more that I'm giving, the more and more words of inspiration, the more and more causes that we support. Why? Because my life is more than just my 8 to 5. It's more than just my family. And you can see that even Jesus said, my family are those that do the will of my Father. Any
Mhm.
man that put his hands to the plow and look back is not fit for the kingdom. We got to expand our family. We got
Yeah.
to expand our territory.
That's
And the
good.
only way to do that is to not to look to yourself for all things. You cannot look to yourself
That's
for all
good.
things. That is the true definition of pride. I only count on me. I got to tell you, you're going to live a depressed, desperate, and a mediocre life if that's you.
Mhm.
But there's so much more to you. I see people chiming in this conversation. It looks like Bridging the Nation and Facebook are kind of split right now. So I
Okay.
know some of y'all, some of them we're not getting right now. So bear with us. But the more you build, your life shall always, I love it, Laura, your life shall always be in the process of building. It should always be in the process of building so you can gain a bigger space to allow more people in the tent. And the more people and the more we begin to give and understand about ourselves, the better God can work through us to get us to our destiny and to get us to our goals and get us to our dreams. And I can promise you, your destiny, your goals and dreams has to include more than just the efforts of one person. Antoinette Marie.
Listen, that is beautiful. If you're on here today and you'd realize that there's some areas in your life where it ain't working. It just is not working. And one of the things that we want to give you so that you take, that opportunity to awaken the great I am that's in you. Like that's the reason why Anthony says that awakening that great I am that is within you. So now that you have heard this word, you have heard this message, you got some work to do in those areas that we spoke about. You cannot be the all in all in your life. God did not create you for it to just be you and your four and no more. You are a conduit to what God wants to happen and see happen on this earth. Anthony just told us that. It no longer can be me, my stuff. I'm bigger, I'm greater. And here's the thing, sis and brother, ain't nobody competing with you. Really.
Say that. You have no competition.
You have no competition. If you had competition, then why would God create you? You're not competing against anyone. There is greatness in you as well as there's greatness in every single person. So what we want you to do today is examine your own life. See where there are some areas in your life that you are not giving and being a person that is serving, right? And if some of you say, well, I don't know where to start, you know what? Start volunteering someplace. How about you go and volunteer at your son or daughter's school? How about you do that? Because there are some moms and dads that work and they cannot go up to the school. How about you do that? How about you give? Sometimes in life, we have to give based on what we know that we saw that we didn't have. That's how you get, you reap and sowing. So many times what we do is that we don't want to, we act like we have it all together. And when you act like you have it all together, it's hard for somebody else to be attracted to that because they don't see themselves in you. So as you go through your week, we challenge you to think about a couple things. One, that you examine yourself, examine your heart, and two, I have pride in certain areas. And it's going to be some areas where you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to work on this area. But then once you start to work on that particular area, beloved, give your time away. Whatever you have an abundance of, there's a reason for the abundance. The abundance is not just for you to hoard it. The abundance is for you to give it away. It's called overflow. Yeah. So you give it away. And a lot of times people are more easily able to depend on the individual. Some people can give money away, just give it away, give it away, give it away. But don't give their time. You have to decide within your own spirit, within your own life, within your own heart, what is it that I can give away?
I love it.
What is it that I can give away to help springboard somebody else's vision? For some of you, it may be money. For some of you, it may be time. For some of you, it may be expertise. For some of you, it may be a hug that would just encourage someone.
Yeah.
So let's think about that, Anthony.
I got my last thought. Last Monday, I talked about I'm under construction. And it's okay that I'm under construction to become the better version of who God created me to be. It's okay that I don't have it all together. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to whine about it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's okay that I'm under construction because we're all working on something. And so if this is your area, don't be ashamed of to say, okay, I'm under construction right now. That it's okay. I don't have it all together. It's okay if I cry right now because somebody said you bringing tears. It's okay that I realize I got work to do in my life because we're always under construction. Build, baby, build. As long as you're on this side of the earth, we should be thankful that God has revealed this thing to me because I know once I start working on it, that there's another level of manifestation on the other side of it.
Yes.
It's okay that I'm under construction. Good. It's okay even from this message this morning. I know some areas of my life that I got to go re-examine because I know that on the other side of this revelation of my I am, me growing in this area is another level of manifestation, meaning that there's more people, bigger impact that I can have upon this earth. It's okay when people hear stuff like this. Sometimes people start to condemn themselves and think about, oh, I should have got it right then, or I should have been working on that back then. It's okay that you didn't, as long as you start today. We're all a work in progress.
Yes, sir.
So don't cry, don't feel bad. Just pick up the pieces, like Bro Man said, and Mark. Pick up the pieces and let's begin to mend and put it together. And let's go to work. Let's go to work. It's okay. Smile, laugh, have fun. We're all under construction.
Yes.
It's okay. And that's my last and final thought. Antoinette Marie, speak.
Listen, this has been a magnificent and beautiful Sunday. We appreciate each and every one of you being here on today. And as we close out today, as Anthony said, always know and trust and believe that we all are work in progress.
Yeah.
And once you have come to the knowledge of what you know that you should be doing, then you must do it.
Yeah.
That's the piece right there. That's the peace. That's the hard sometimes peace where people are like, oh my goodness, that means I'm responsible. Yes, it does mean that you are responsible for. You're responsible for this word now. And as you go through life, just know there are going to be times where you're not going to get it right. But that's the grace that you have every single day. That's the grace that God gives us every single day. Isn't that a beautiful, beautiful thing? That is your call to action. Thank you, Laura. That every single day, and as you give yourself grace, we want to say this to you. Give other people grace. Give your children some grace. Give your wife, give your husband some grace. All right? Don't be tripping over pride. Tripping means falling. Don't be falling over pride. We want to say we love you. We want to say that we love you. We appreciate you being here today. And though we are getting ready to close out today, continue with this conversation. Let us know even throughout the week in this same feed, like what are some of the things that you are learning about yourself? What are some of the areas that you're learning about yourself that you have examined and like, I gotta tighten up in this particular area? And then also in the comments, let us know who did you help this week?
Love it.
Who did you help this week? Who did you give a positive word? Who did you decide to pay? Did you decide to pay for somebody's groceries? Did you decide to pay a student fee for maybe the kiddo's parents that couldn't pay for a fee or a field trip or the uniform? What about that? Because as Anthony said, God has created us to be a conduit.
Man,
And that's the peace.
That's beautiful. And then if y'all want to, and I would if I was you all, join me tomorrow night for Motivational Monday at 8:30 EST. We're talking about I'm working on something. I'm working on something.
Absolutely. What time is it, Anthony?
Monday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm working on something. And I would say go back and listen to them on the construction because we're building on that.
Absolutely. And so the great thing about what God is doing is that you don't have the capacity, the truthfulness to say, well, I don't know. I don't have no help. Yes, you do. You got some help.
Yeah, you
Ask for the help. Ask for the help. And God is going to do some fantastic and fabulous things in your life. Just remember, if Jesus needed some help, don't you think we need some?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. So we want to say thank you so much for being a part of Bridging the Nations. We have not forgotten about our conference that's going to be coming up in 2022 in Georgia. I know some of you are asking, where is it going to be? I want to get my ticket. We don't have that information yet, but this is a really, come on, God, come on. See, I'm telling you, God is great. We've already said, listen, we talked today about helping folk. If you want to be a part, if there's something that you do, if you stay in the Georgia, Atlanta area, you say, listen, I can help with this. Put it in the comments.
Holla at
Reach
your
out
people.
to us.
And
Holla
we
at
can tell
us.
you like Pastor Mike, it's going to be big.
And it's going to be
Big.
So we want to say, have a fantastic, fantastic week. We appreciate you. We love you. And we know that greater things are coming your way. We will see you on next week. Take care. Be well. Bye.